I'm Ezra Raya, and this is the Manila Times. Record high heat in the Philippines have driven power outages across the regions, leaving areas without electricity. As temperatures reach over 50 degrees Celsius, a surge in electricity demand, especially for cooling, has strained the power grid. The situation is made worse by grid instability as Luzon and Visayas grids enter yellow alert, meaning low power supply. Weather Bureau Pag-asa warns that the hottest days are still ahead in this month of May. Here with us is Department of Energy DOE Assistant Secretary Mario Marasigan. Welcome to the Manila Times, sir.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ezra, and good morning to all.
Sir, give us an update po on the current electricity demand nationwide and in Metro Manila.
Well, currently, there is an increasing demand in Metro Manila as well as the entire Philippines. And we tried to correlate this, and we were able to check with the Department of Science and Technology, particularly Pag-asa. And apparently, there is a direct correlation between the increasing heat at the moment with the combination of the El Nino and the summer period. So these increasing temperatures that is prevailing in the country apparently cause also for the continuously increasing demand for electricity.
Opo sir, no, dahil napakainit nga po like what you said, tagtuyot na nga at summer days pa, so napakainit po. And then Pag-asa warns also na yung hottest days are still ahead in this month of May. So sir, let us know po, what is the situation of the power supply for Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao?
Well, currently we have sufficient supply of electricity for the country, no? In all grids, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. However, the combination of the continuously increasing demand and the failures or outages of some of our generating facilities, which were unexpected, caused the issuances, no, of red alert starting some 3 weeks ago. No, it's April 16, to be exact, the first time that we have a yellow and red alerts announcement by our system operator. And on April 24 this year, we have actually surpassed our projected peak demand for the entire year. We have projected some 13,917 megawatts peak requirement for Luzon. This was already surpassed on April 24 with a peak demand of 14,016 megawatts. So it's over by 99 megawatts, no? And it's still not on the second or third week of May kung saan namin pinroject yung peak demand na yon, no? Also, for Visayas and Mindanao, we were able to record the peak demand for the year at 2,586 megawatts against 2,891 megawatts for Visayas and 2,534 megawatts against 2,584 megawatts for Mindanao. Although this has not surpassed our peak demand projections for the year, this is very near to our projection. In Visayas, it's only around 305 megawatts, while 50 megawatts in Mindanao. If we will compare this as well with what happened last year, no, in 2023, all our peak projections for 2023 were actually not are actually below our projections. Our projections for Luzon is 575 megawatts below, and the actual peak demands for Visayas and Mindanao were 233 and 72 megawatts below our projections. So mas mataas talaga ngayon ang nangyayari. Of course, we have to take note that yung combination ng El Nino and summer, which is absent last year.
Sir, I have a question po. Yung 13,917 megawatts peak po, is that nationwide?
No,
And
that's only for Luzon.
That's only for Luzon, ano? And
Yeah.
you mentioned that we have surpassed these projected power demand. So do we have enough energy to supply the surpassing actual demand of energy? Do we have enough po?
Supposedly, yes, no? Kaya lang, there were issuances ka ng yellow and red alerts kasi nagkaroon ng mga emergency shutdowns and outages yung mga malalaking power plants natin.
So with the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, yung NGCP nga po ay nag-release ng alerts a few days ago or one day ago, yellow and red alerts for Luzon and Visayas. So is what's causing this power outages, sir? Is it too much power demand or something else po?
Well, there are so many causes why these power plants were on outages. Number one, pwede natin tingnan, the hydropower capacities natin were definitely below its actual potential, no? Kasi meron tayong deratings na nangyayari because of the low water level. Kasi nga sa El Nino, yung expected rainfall natin hindi dumating because of the El Nino. Kaya mas mababa ngayon ang level ng tubig. And we are conserving water not only for power generation. Kasi yung mga dams natin ay nagsiserve to include yung ating domestic uses and irrigation. So kung hindi na gagamitin sa irrigation and domestic usage yung tubig, hindi siya magpo-produce ng kuryente kasi it's the same water. So that's number one causes, no? Number two causes, there were power plants that are maintaining their facilities in accordance to our grid operating and maintenance program. Ito yung ano natin, ina-approvean ng Department of Energy na schedules ng mga power plant maintenance. Kaya lang, some of them discovered that they need additional days kasi meron silang mga nakita na additional requirement to complete their maintenance program. So nagkaroon sila ng extension, no? Even some who were on forced outages or yung emergency shutdown, they were expecting to immediately repair their power facilities. Unfortunately, marami din silang na-encounter na challenges at hindi pa nila nakukompleto yung kanilang repair services. And pangatlong cause is yung mga power plants naman na nagkaroon ng sudden or emergency shutdown, internal sa kanila yung problem. Number one na causes niyan ay yung boiler tube leaks kung saan pumuputok yung mga tubo ng generation facilities kaya nagkakaroon ng leakage pagdating doon sa kanilang steam generation. And this caused the power plant to shut down.
So that's good to know po ano. I earlier you mentioned that there's an energy mix. The one of the reasons po ano is the higher hydro power plants. Can you give us ano that would actually lead to my last question po ano about renewable energy sources. So I know we're not just utilizing burning of fossil fuels, but we're also utilizing hydropower plants as well as geothermal and solar energy, lalo na po't napakainit ngayon. So tell us more about your alternative sources of energy, sir.
At these current times, we had a good mixture of energy sources. Nabanggit mo na kanina, meron tayong conventional power plants that includes coal and liquid fueled power facilities. Aside from that, meron tayong mga natural gas fueled facilities, no? Nagko-contribute din ito ng malaki, particularly in Luzon. About 19 to 21% are coming from our natural gas facilities. Now, even if we are previously using indigenous natural gas, yung malampaya gas natin, the depletion ng ating malampaya gas caused us to shift to LNG or liquefied natural gas. So that means bumibili tayo sa ibang bansa, nagtayo tayo ng mga infrastructure facilities para ma-convert yung liquefied natural gas into natural gas for our generating facilities. No, so those are the conventional. But at the same time, we are using renewable energies. These are the geothermal, the hydropower, the solar, wind, and even biomass energy resources. So marami yung mixture natin. In fact, collectively, yung ating renewable energy resources is representing already about 29% in terms of capacity, and producing about 22%, no, in terms of energy generation. So yun yung mga contributions ng iba't ibang sources natin ng electricity dito sa country natin.
Thank you for that information. Sir, lastly po, ano pong advice ninyo sa mga mamamayan naman po to cope up with the power instability or power supply, Should we conserve energy?
Yes, thank you very much for that. Actually, yan yung minumungkahi natin. We are requesting the cooperation of our end users, particularly the electricity consumers, na sana makiisa at makitulong doon sa pagkokonserba natin ng electricity. Ang ibig lamang sabihin noon is dapat nasa tama or wastong paggamit tayo ng kuryente. Kung hindi natin kailangan gamitin ang isang appliances, lalo na yung mga remote control, dapat hugutin natin ito sa mga saksakan, sa mga sockets, kasi yung mga remote controlled appliances natin are also consuming energy while on idle mode. Otherwise, sayang naman yung kuryenteng nagagamit. Hindi ka nanonood ng TV, for example, pero gumagana yung uh, television mo. Ganon din sa mga air conditioning system natin. Hindi mo siya ginagamit, pero dahil kailangan niya ng phantom power, gumagamit pa rin siya ng electricity. So, nasa tama or wastong paggamit lang. Nandun din yung mga sinasabi nating mga energy conservation tips. Kagaya nung sa air conditioning system natin, talaga namang pwedeng gumamit ng air conditioning system, pero sana doon sa comfortable situation lang or comfortable temperatures lang. Meron kasing iba sa atin na nagsiset ng kanilang air conditioning system at 20 degrees or even below, no? Yung iba 18 degrees pa. Now, they have to wear jackets. And then pag biglang lumabas sa sabihin natin lumabas ng bahay, makakasalubong nila sobrang init na panahon. So yung shift from very cold condition to very hot temperatures, baka rin magkasakit tayo. So ang rekomendado naming setting is 25 degrees, which is the normal operating conditions naman ng kahit laan. Naka-polo shirt tayo sa ating trabaho, no? Hindi natin kailangan mag-jacket, at lumabas man tayo sa bigla sa initan, hindi masyadong malaki yung diferensya. The same holds true dun sa mga gawin natin sa bahay. Kagaya ng pamamlansya, paglalaba, kung pwede gawin natin itong mga bagay na to during off-peak hours, yung mga oras na kukonti yung gumagamit ng kuryente. Halimbawa, sa madaling araw, buhat ng alas 4 hanggang alas 6, kung saan ang konsumo natin ay mababa pa. At iwasan natin gumamit ng mga energy intensive na appliances, no? During peak hours, like for example, in most part of the countries, ang peak hours natin sa hapon is between 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So, wag tayong gumamit ng mga malalaking appliances during periods at those time, no? And then sa gabi naman, buhat alas 8 hanggang alas 10 ng gabi. Kung maaari nating iwasan ang paggamit ng mga appliances na kumukonsumo ng malaki sa kuryente, iwasan natin. Nandyan din yung, habit lang ba? No? Pinakasimple dyan yung mga inumin tubig. Diba? Every time na kukuha tayo ng tubig sa rep, magsasalin tayo ng isang basong tubig, tapos iinom tayo. So, bukas sara yung refrigerator natin. So, that causes ngayon na pumapasok yung mainit na temperature dun sa refrigerator natin, causing our refrigeration system to exhaust more power and consume more energy. So ang suggestion natin, why not na gumamit tayo ng pitsil, lagyan natin ng yelo yung pitsil, lagay natin sa lamesa. Kung kailan lang maubos yung tubig natin na may pitsil, palitan natin ng yelo, dagdagan ng tubig na hindi na kailangan galing sa rep. So maiiwasan natin yung madalas na pagbubukas-sara ng ating refrigeration system. Yung pagluluto natin, huwag tayong magluto using our electric appliances during the peak hours, yun nga, 2 to 4. Karamihan naman sa atin kumakain between 6 to 7. So kung pwede sa hapunan, magluto tayo yung just before 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, not at the peak hours, no? At siguro naman, meron tayong choices between air conditioning system and electric fans, no? So kung malamig na yung sitwasyon natin, makakatipid pa tayo sa kuryente kung mag-shift tayo from air condition to electric fans. Hindi pwedeng yung sabay, no? Ngayon, ang nakikita natin dyan is dalawang prinsipyo. Number one, alam natin na mas mahal kung walang kuryente. Di ba? Kasi mas malaki ang epekto sa atin kung mawawalan tayo ng kuryente. Pangalawa, kung nasa wasto at tamang paggamit tayo ng kuryente, hindi lang tayo nakakatulong para maiwasan yung malawakang blackout. Pati ito ay makakatulong sa ating bulsa dahil makakatipid tayo sa binabayaran nating mga electric bills. So marami pang tips ang Department of Energy regarding energy conservation. At kaya sana yung ating mga consumer makiisa at tumulong para maging stable ang supply natin ng elektrisidad. Maraming salamat po.
That's very good advice, Asik, ano? So, pag hindi ginagamit ang appliance, kailangan hugutin. At saka ang aircon, dapat 25 degrees lang. At iwasan ang peak hours ng 2 to 4 p.m. That's very good advice, Asik. Maraming salamat po, Department of Energy, DOE Assistant Secretary Mario Marasigan. Thank you for your time po.
Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay po kayo at God bless po.